if you put boots on the ground in Iran, it will be another Vietnam. Are you afraid of that?
No, I'm really not afraid of anything.
Mr. President.
So, first of all, I don't think he's being literal, and I don't think this is confirmation that we are going to or aren't going to put boots on the ground in Iran. Actually, I think that's probably the last thing that Trump wants to do in this situation. He seems like, from all accounts, he wants to get the war, which is he's now referring to as just an action, like a military action in Iran. It seems like he wants to get this over and done with as quickly as possible, right? But what's brilliant about this is I feel like this is what was lacking over the past couple of years with Trump, with his negotiations with foreign countries, specifically Russia. If we think back to even a year ago when he was trying to negotiate with Russia over Ukraine, for instance, right? Part of the negotiating is like you have to, if you're negotiating with a world leader like this, I feel like you have to believe the threats, right? Like if you're Russia and you got Trump coming to you, you know, he's brokering all these peace deals across the Middle East. Russia's a different beast. There's really no reason for them to withdraw from Ukraine, right, without getting exactly what they want. If you have Trump on the other end sort of just asking you to withdraw, trying to get the negotiations to work, that doesn't really work super well because he hasn't, to my eye, up until the last several months, really had the actions that sort of would have backed up that type of leverage, right? What I love about this quote, "I'm not afraid of anything," is when you hear it, you believe it. Like right out of the gate, you believe it because you've seen him go into Venezuela and extract a dictator, right? Bring him back on a helicopter for charges. Because you've seen him go into Iran, right? Which no other president was willing to do, right? He was the one who did it. He took down Iran. He did it very quickly, right? He has consistently shown that he's willing to do the things that take balls to do, and that he's willing to do the thing that you really don't think he's going to do, and this is the president who actually goes in and does it, right? So he's established a track record of credibility, and I think that's what he's doing here in this interview. Is he's essentially saying, you know, when you ask him if he's going to put boots on the ground, if he's afraid of it, he's not going to take that off of the table, right? Because that would lower our negotiating ability, which might help prevent boots on the ground, right? Instead, he's going to say very boldly that he's not afraid of anything. And he has the actions now to back it up. So I think this helps negotiations with any country. I don't know how further talks with Ukraine and Russia will go. But if I were Russia, I'd be a lot more worried about the U.S. and about Trump today than I was 4 or 5 months ago. This was related. This was someone pointing out online just about the efficiency. Emma Vigeland, I don't know how to pronounce her name. I think she's a Democrat maybe, or at least she has a lot of liberal tweets I see sometimes, I think. But she says, normal graphic on the front page of the New York Times today. This was the graphic just showing all of the killed leaders, and then other is the category of the alive ones, which is about how efficient we've been so far in Iran. You know, one of the kind of, I think, startling discoveries for maybe leftists during this invasion has been that Americans really seem to support fast and successful military actions that make us look badass. They can really get behind that. So that's all we've seen so far. Also related, this is somebody talking about the Iran situation. I'll just show some memes for a second. He says, somehow they're all connected. You got Hamas, Strait of Hormuz, and homos. This is in reference to the gay Ayatollah story from yesterday, which I've already said I think is false. Probably made up. Still funny. We can all laugh at it, even though it's fan fiction, most likely. This was another story coming out of Iran today. So apparently we killed another really important leader. This was, let me pull it up here. His name is Ali Larijani. Okay. This is actually him here. There's the guy there. Apparently, he was a key regime figure and former parliamentary speaker, so a pretty big figure in Iran. And people were saying he was kind of the guy that was interim sort of directing stuff in between Ayatollahs. Of course, the first was killed. We don't know what's happened to his son, if he's dead already or if he's in a hospital recovering somewhere. Haven't heard from him, right? So this guy, this was just, I think 4 days ago on March 12th. He says, he had a tweet. He says, Trump says he is looking for a speedy victory. While starting a war is easy, it cannot be won with a few tweets. We will not relent until making you sorry for this grave miscalculation. And then Will Chamberlain says, update, he's dead. Which is, if there's one thing we've learned, you probably shouldn't tweet from the war. Could make your location known. ChatGPT was just eyeballing him. I think it's Claude right now, actually. But in any case, I guess we did an airstrike just last night, took him out. So he's gone. Pretty big move. This made me feel better about the strike. This was a quote from him also. Here's a recent quote from Larijani. He said, Trump has said we can take apart Iran's electricity capacity within 1 hour, but we have not done it. He says, well, if they did do that, the whole region will go dark in less than half an hour, and darkness provides ample opportunity to hunt down U.S. servicemen running for safety. Bye, bitch. Happy to see you go. I'm glad I got the context, you know. It just makes me feel a little bit better.